10th of June, 2025.
Was that yesterday?
No.
So on the part, so the OAG says they received some documents today and yesterday. What about on the part of the Senate?
We received the soft copies on the 11th, that's Wednesday, 11th June, and the hard copies today.
And are the hard copies the same as the soft copy in terms of content?
No, they have amended the one submitted today.
Governor, what do you have to say to that?
Mr. Chairman, I want to confirm that we submitted the documents as guided 7 days before appearance, which was on 10th. Maybe they were received on 11th. But of course, thereafter, if we get information that we think is relevant, I think we are allowed to improve the document. I don't think there is very, very major variance between what was initially submitted and what we submitted yesterday.
Governor, Parliament is a house of record, and this exercise is an exercise of evidence. We sit here as a quasi-court with the powers of the High Court with necessary amendments. And you would know, perhaps, that even if you took the laws of evidence, even if you didn't take them very strictly, but you cannot bring evidence before this committee on the day of a meeting. There is a reason why we require you to send the records to the Auditor General and to the Senate well in advance. The Auditor General does an analysis and advises this committee. The Clerk of the Senate sends the reports to the Parliamentary Budget Office, who are able to analyze and advise the committee. If that is not done in time, then this committee ends up being the auditors. We are not auditors. We are overseers. We take a pragmatic view of issues, and we take technical advice from the OAG. We take technical advice from the Parliamentary Budget Office. So I must correct your impression that it is okay to keep amending the document as you come across new information. Indeed, we should not even be asking for additional information outside the audit cycle. And that is why the focus of this meeting was on implementation of our recommendations. But in the case where the Auditor General tells us that they received documents in the morning and in the evening yesterday, that becomes untenable. So I will repeat this question again. OAG, under those circumstances, do you feel sufficiently armed to be able to prosecute and guide the committee today?
Thank you, Chairman. We received a soft copy through email to the officers on the ground. Yesterday, the Deputy Director yesterday in the evening also received an amended copy, an improved version of this document in the evening. So this morning is when he got his hard copy. The Deputy Director had already traveled from Kakamega, where we are stationed, to Nairobi. So, Chairman, we have not tested this record or this document given to us with the primary records within the county government. Chairman, it will be impossible for us to proceed in those circumstances.
Now, Governor, from where I sit, I believe you are the Governor of Trans Nzoia, because you have not been brought to the Senate for removal by impeachment, and have not heard of your resignation as Governor. You therefore take responsibility. Are you not seeing a problem with the situation we find ourselves in?
Chair, if the auditor has not looked at the responses, of course there must be a problem. Because then how is he going to guide if he has not looked at the report?
Do you see the problem being the auditor or the problem being your officers?
The problem emanates from my office, because if they didn't submit the documents on time, then of course the problem is in Kitale, not Kakamega.
Yeah, that's what we need to focus on, the administrative action that you must take. Because you have spent public resources to come here. These senators have dedicated time to be here. We were ready to proceed. I don't think we had any reservations about going on, because as I said, and I will repeat, that you are still the Governor of Trans Nzoia. whether you're operating from an office in town or an office in the village. So we expect you to be accountable and to respond to the issues raised by the Auditor General. But if your officers cannot do the simple things like sending responses to the Auditor General on time, then the problem is with you. The problem is not on any of the parties on this table. Now, honorable members, we had agreed that if it is confirmed that there was delayed submission of documents, then really there's nothing we can do at this point. Is there any other matter beyond that?
Governor, you know, we got very interesting news from the courts that you are not to access your office. Does that extend to members of your cabinet and members of your office?
No.
Or what difficulty are you facing? Because we don't understand why the office cannot continue running even in your absence. And by the way, you need to tell us what subsequent steps have been taken by EACC after that dramatic raid on your office and home. We have our friend from EACC, she's called Patricia, she's looking at me suspiciously. I just want to know, Governor, have you been charged formally?
I was taken to court and charged formally. The matter is before court now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I address us about access to office.
Of
Do
course,
your officers have access to the offices?
one of the conditions I was given when I applied for bond was that I should not access my office for 60 days.
Yes.
And my office is like a command post. That's where the government services of Trans Nzoia County are coordinated from. So if you are not there, you run into hiccups like these ones. Because you're all over the place, you're in Kimini, you're in the best. Sometimes you need to consult the offices. Documents have come to the office, you can't have access to them. So really, I'm not expected to be at my best when I'm not operating from my...
When do those 60 days lapse?
It was from, was it on 19th? From 19th of last month. Yeah.
Of April?
Yes, of May.
Of May?
So 60 days, it should be 19th of July.
Yeah, but I think I would be making a factual statement by saying that you still are the governor of Trans Nzoia. Is that not the case?
I'm the governor of Trans Nzoia.
So any other thing, because even what Senator Sifuna is referring to is not something that has been brought to attention formally. We are not usually persuaded by newspaper articles, even though we can take judicial notice. Therefore, whether you're operating in an office in Kitale or operating from your liaison office in Nairobi, you are still the CEO, you are still the captain of the team, and we would expect that your team would respond and would provide documentation and play their respective roles, irrespective of where you are sitting.
Chairman, if you are a captain of a football team, however good you are, and then they tie your hands behind your back, and the fans and the coach and the manager still expect you to score the 3 goals that you always score, is that a reasonable expectation?
Do you keep records in the governor's office?
We do. All correspondences land to the governor's office. The governor's office means the county secretary, myself, and we give guidance.
Do you keep financial records in the governor's office?
No.
So the conversation we are having is on financial records.
Yes.
Shouldn't they be availed, whether you are sitting in that office or not?
Mr. Chairman, this is the reason why a governor is here. Because if you go that direction, then I'll be saying, I don't handle finance, why am I here? It goes with ultimate...
Governor, you are not getting my point. And if you take that route, we are going to get into problems that we don't want to get into. There has been a view that under the circumstances that Senator Sifuna has alluded to, which again I've said is not formally before us, that we should not even entertain you before any committee of the Senate. We have taken the view that unless you are removed by the Senate or removed by any other proceedings, you are still the governor of Trans Nzoia. Now, if you want to argue with that, then you can argue with that. Because the other view would have been to say that we don't want to see you until the court is done with you. So, because I could see you were taking a direction that was going to put us into arguments. But we have taken the view that everyday money is being spent in that county, and until you are removed by Parliament or until you are removed by any other process, you will be the one to respond as the CEO. What I'm trying to emphasize, which perhaps you're not seeing, is that in whatever state you are in, you still have the power to whip your team and to demand performance out of them. The failure to bring these documents on time cannot be tied to your being not in office, because the rest of the officers are in office. So I'm just trying to tell you, go back and whip people into line. This is a waste of public resources for us to come to Nairobi and to abort a meeting simply because your officers did not do what they expected to do. I hope tunasikizana up to that point.
Mr. Chairman, I already admitted to the act of omission or commission. I already admitted to it. And I never gave any excuses whatsoever. The issue of a court case was not raised by myself. I just admitted that we've not brought the documents on time, and therefore the Auditor General has not have sufficient time to look at the documents. I've not given any excuses. I'm just admitted that we did not provide the documents in due time.
Senator Cherargei?
Yeah, Chair, I think Governor is